welcome back to our channel. So before we start our informative discussion, let me ask you first a question. So why do we need to compare and contrast? When we are at the grocery, why do we need to compare the red apple to green apple? And why do we need to compare ourselves to someone else? Simply because we want to feed our curiosity. We are curious of certain things. That's why we compare and contrast. And by comparing and contrasting certain things, we get an answer. We get to know the relevance and irrelevance of something. We eliminate subtle differences as well as we know unexpected similarities. So today we're going to talk about the differences and similarities of Philippines and Canada. We all know that there's a huge gap between the two countries in terms of culture, politics, economics, and other sectors. So without further ado, let's go deeper and talk about their politics and government. Philippines and Canada is a living comparison. And in terms of politics in Canada, the people and the decision making has a great impact to their state. And we all know that Canada's political system is less partisan and more independent country. And in terms of their decision making, they use the process of systematic research and practical experience with mix of interactions of ideas and ideologies. The Philippine politics is dominated by patronage and clans. The political dynasty are also existing, and when it comes to decision making, they use the fiscal incentives rather than reasoned policies. They also said that the support of military and Catholic Church has a big impact to the survival and success of Philippine politics. When it comes to similarities, the Philippines and Canada both have political parties. And the political parties of Canada is the progressive conservative and liberals that are ideologically different to each other, while the Philippines is the PDP Laban and the Liberal Party that engenders the principle of its member as a part of democratic involvement. Also, Philippines and Canada established the parliamentary relationship. Now let's proceed to the similarities and differences of Philippines and Canada in terms of government. Canada has two forms of government. The first one is the constitutional monarchy and the second one is the parliamentary democracy. When we say constitutional monarchy, the power is vested in Queen through constitution. And to guarantee the unbiased and effective government, they established the second forms of government, which is the parliamentary democracy. And in this case, the citizens are the accountable in electing their desired leaders that will lead the state. While in the Philippines, they has a democratic form of government, whereby the president is the head of state and the head of government. Also, the citizens are eligible to have right to participate in electing their desired leaders. Let's talk about the Philippines and Canada's similarities. Canada and Philippines both have a political system that citizens can play a part and contribute. Also, if the Philippines has three branches of government, the Canada has three levels of government, which is the federal, provincial, and municipal, while the three branches of the government is the legislative, executive, and judicial. That's it. We are done comparing the politics and government of Philippines and Canada. And to know more about economy sector, here is Ate Eileen Monopollo to give you an informative discussion.
Thank you very much, Ali, for that informative explanation and the differences and similarities of the two countries' politics and government. And like what Ali said, I'm Eileen and I'm going to discuss about the economy of the two countries, Canada and Philippines. Economy, it actually refers to the resources and wealth of a country or nation. Canada was recognized for being one of the most wealthy countries in the world. As a matter of fact, last 2020, it ranked as the world's 9th largest economy in the world. Currency is called Canadian dollar, and according to World Bank, last 2020, Canada's GDP or gross domestic product was 1.643 trillion US dollars. And when we say GDP, it is the number that will ultimately indicate the overall economic health of a country. Canada's economy is anchored in mining, natural resources such as gold, zinc, and copper, and other natural resources. Canada is also playing a big role when it comes to the oil industry. Let's go to the Philippine economy. Philippine economy was recognized as one of the most dynamic economy in the East Asia Pacific. It is, and it is because of the increased urbanization and the growing middle class with a huge and young population. Philippine currency is called peso, and according to the World Bank last 2020, Philippine gross domestic product was 361.5 billion US dollars. And Philippine economic vitality is anchored in a strong consumer demand, supported by a vibrant labor market and significant remittances. Remittances is significant because it is from the overseas Filipino workers working around the world. When it comes to Philippines and Canada's economic similarities, they are both mixed economy. Mixed economy is a system that combines aspects of both capitalism and socialism. In other words, or in simpler words, in this system, some companies are owned by the government and other companies are not. And now for the next part of our discussion, here's Miguel to discuss why we chose to compare these two beautiful countries. Miguel?
So, thank you, Eileen. And now, we are now finished on the statements of Miss Eileen and Miss Eliza on comparing the two countries. So, right now, let's move on in stating why did we chose these two countries. So, first of all, we chose these countries of a because of a lot of Filipinos moving to Canada, and mostly because of the work, how comfortable their life in Canada compared here in the Philippines, and also because of the overpopulation, economic and political difficulties, and also speaking of political difficulties, in 1972, the declaration of martial law also caused a big population of Filipinos moving away from other countries and especially to the Canada. And because of the situation, now it affected greatly the economy of the Philippines. Most importantly, because of that, the Philippines has really a low economic standards compared to the Canada. And also, we all know na now there are a lot of OFWs in Canada that are staying there, and when they can finally transfer their whole family in the Canada, they will. Because of that, I can really say that the comparison of these two countries will really give us more information why they are why Filipinos are moving to the Canada, what are the benefits, and how it affect the economy of the two countries. And further, I can say that when we gonna compare, like we the all information have been said earlier, I can really say that Canada is greatly more efficient in terms of economics, salary, and life. It has a higher standards compared to the Philippines. And most especially right now in the pandemic, we are now really low in economics and compared to the Canada, like what has been said earlier. And that's all. That's why I think we can clearly state that Canada is much better to the Philippines.
Thank you so much for listening and participating in our discussion. I hope you had fun and you learned a lot. Before I formally close it, I just want to remind that it is our differences that makes us unique and define just how special we are. Thank you so much and have a great day.